All right, good morning. I just want to talk about how we're structuring our leash walks now that we have a pretty functional heel command. Right now, Miss Nova is out of heel. She's in what I call a break. This is her time to pee and potty and sniff, relieve herself if she needs to. I don't want her super distracted by trying to pee or sniff things while we're in a heel position. So making it clear that there are designated times to do that and then designated times where you're in a heel position and you're not allowed to do that is going to make it easier for her to understand. So in this time, all I'm kind of looking for is that she's acting polite. I don't want, any digging or excessive barking at people as they walk by, but she's allowed to sniff and relieve herself if she needs to. Good girl. So there, she's out of command right now. I haven't really told her to do anything. There was someone who walked by on the sidewalk, and I was waiting to see if Nova was going to react or bark. If she would, I would have interrupted that. I would have used my e-collar. I would have used my leash a little bit. I'm going to give her some privacy while she does her business. But this is the perfect time. I don't want her distracted by having to poop while we're out on the walk. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video here and make it up part 2. All right, everybody has done their business and we're ready to start walking. So right now at the park, there's really not a whole lot going on. It's pretty quiet. And that environment is going to generally dictate what the level on the e-collar is going to need to be. If there are a lot of things going on, a lot of people, a lot of distractions, especially other dogs, chances are high this level on the e-collar is going to be need to up probably in the 30s or 40s. But right now, because there's nothing going on, you can see, I don't know if you can see that screen, but I'm at a 5 right now. So pretty low. All I'm going to do is tell Nova, heel, and I'm going to start to walk. And I give a tap on that e-collar, that black S button, as soon as I use my leash. And now that's the idea here. Anytime, so right here, tap, 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 bringing her all the way back. Anytime that I would use my leash previously to get her in that heel position, I'm also going to be pairing it with taps from the e-collar. The idea is the more I do this, the less I'm going to have to rely on the leash, and the more I can just use the e-collar to communicate. And now here, while we're walking, it looks like she's doing pretty good. She's in that heel position. I can test it if I slow down a little bit. Haha, caught her. I can tell sometimes when she's just kind of cruising. She's not actually thinking. And there again, she cruised right in front. So we can just rinse and repeat. And anytime she gets out in front, I'm tapping on that e-collar to remind her to go back. And at a 5 right now, this isn't a crazy correction. This is just like me using my leash to guide her back into a position. Now, keep in mind, if I were to do that because she was barking at another dog or getting distracted by a sound, see right here, there's a sound across the street she heard. I'm currently tapping. She did not care. There she goes and comes back in. So the level of the e-collar is generally going to dictate, or the environment is going to dictate the level of the e-collar. I'm going to go up a little bit here just because there are some distractions on the street. I'm probably going to stop at like a 15. And I'm always going to see how she's responding. If I'm getting too big of a, jerking reaction when I go to tap on the e-collar, chances are high your levels are too high. So here, another dog, tapping, bringing her all the way back, and we're back in heel. And now, that's a little barky dog. I'm glad I went up there, waiting to see what she does. Good girl, heel. So in general, when I see another dog, I do my best not to stop. I'm going to do my best to just keep on walking. If while we're walking, she decides to get out of position and go towards that dog, that's the perfect time to use the e-collar. But in general, just going back to how we taught the heel position in the first place with our leash, anytime I use my leash to remind her to come back into position, I'm going to be pairing that with the e-collar. Now, the level that I use in the e-collar is going to depend on what's in my environment. For that dog scenario there, I'm glad I was up at a 15 because she actually responded much better than she would have had it been set to a 5. So while we're out walking, heel should mean walk with me, stay with me, and sit when I stop. If she stops for any other reason, if she stops to linger and sniff something or try and pick something off the ground especially, that's a moment where I'll use my leash, tap to move forward, like right there. And now, it might not seem like that big a deal, but I don't want her picking up anything dangerous. She also has a bad habit of trying to drink puddles. It's something I've noticed with her. So especially around small little puddles of water, I don't want her just trying to ingest random stuff. While we're in a heel position especially, we're going to hold her accountable to that. Now, say for example, we find a space that would be good for a potty break for her. I'm not just going to let her out of position on her own. I'm going to make sure that she hears her release cue. So there's a little patch of grass here. I'm just going to cue break. And she's allowed to sniff and walk around. Now she can relieve herself. That's perfect. I don't want her pulling and yanking me around everywhere there. So just because she's out of position doesn't mean there's no rules. I don't want her digging or creating more of a mess than a dog normally does. And when I'm ready to start walking, Nova, heel. I'm going to cue heel, swing her around to my left-hand side, and we're on our way. So I can give her as many breaks as I want on the walk, but I just want to make sure that I'm the one choosing when those breaks are happening, and she's not trying to do it all the time. But today I also want to talk about something that I've noticed is an issue with her is picking up random stuff off the ground, especially trash. We're in an area where we've got some like random receipts and to-go boxes and things just kind of littered on the ground. And we can use these as distractions for her to walk past in a heel position. If she shows any interest of going towards those items, I can use my leash paired with my e-collar to reinforce, hey, we just got to ignore those items and stay in that heel position. You can see right there, she did fantastic. Just walk right on by. If I slow down, I'm going to see if she slows down with me. Perfect. Nice. So allowing her out of the heel position. Break. I'm going to cue the word break, and I'm going to walk over to, usually it's like a grassy area, but trees work as well, these little plots. Having Kilo with me is helpful because it helps the dog understand, oh, this is my time out of position. Anytime she hears that word, she's allowed to relieve herself and sniff. What that doesn't mean, though, is I don't want her pulling everywhere on the leash or barking at strangers. There's still some rules applied. She's just allowed out of the heel position. Now, if it looks like she doesn't have any business to attend to or she's ready to start walking, I'm just going to cue her back into the heel position. I've got my finger on that black S button on my e-collar. I'm going to say heel and tap as I start to walk. Up there. So right away, she kind of sped forward. I'm just going to adjust, and we're back into that heel position. And I can be pretty strict about getting too far forward. Anytime you pass that shin, I'm going to slow down, see if you slow down with me. If she doesn't, it's a perfect time to use my leash, use my e-collar. But there's a good example of just, good girl. I wanted to see if she would go towards that food tray. But there was just a good example of how we're allowing her out of the heel position. Our walks don't always have to be like this, but for a good majority of it, I'm going to have it nice and structured.